Welcome to the Cavalier Corner, a show in which we'll be discussing all kinds of fun topics related to student life. My name is Giuliana,
And I'm Camille.
and this is our special Thanksgiving episode.
Woohoo!
We're going a little bit over the history of it, what we're thankful for, and just fun things like that. So, Camille, what are your thoughts about Thanksgiving overall?
So, being that I'm from Jamaica, we technically don't have Thanksgiving, but celebrating Thanksgiving in America has been an amazing experience. Growing up, I've always watched movies where I've always known what Thanksgiving was. I've seen the feast that people have, and I was like, it their Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving here is like our Christmas, where all the families come together and we create all these various dishes. So, first of all, anywhere food is, I'm there. So, I love Thanksgiving. Feel free to invite me over, guys, for the food, not for socializing. How about you? Do you guys celebrate Thanksgiving from where you're from?
So we don't have Thanksgiving in Paraguay, which is kind of like what you were saying. It's like our Christmas celebration. So it's pretty similar like that. That's the time where families get together is Christmas and here is Thanksgiving. So it's kind of like similar in that way. Also, we have turkey on Christmas because we don't have Thanksgiving. So it's kind of even the foods are a little bit like similar and things.
Different.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
experiencing it here is it's fun. I mean, it's a new type of holiday that I got to experience like last year was my first Thanksgiving, and like I mean I knew what Thanksgiving was and what the concept of it was, but I was just never around in the States long enough to actually sit down and have one. And it was, I mean, it was a good time. It's a good holiday and it's a good time to spend with friends and family. Yeah.
Families. It's true. I agree.
Yeah.
So, to help you guys and to help us know the knowledge or just more information on Thanksgiving, we went ahead and we researched some information. Do you want to kick it off, Juliana?
Sure. All right, so let's see here. I think we were talking about
Because
when started.
so first there was like where was the first Thanksgiving,
Right, yeah.
and there's a debate of where it was in Massachusetts. I cannot pronounce that word.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Did I get it right?
Massachusetts.
Or was it in Florida? Apparently, in way before we were even born, thought of my great grandparents, it was from in 19. Sorry, even I'm wrong. It was from in 1565, nearly 60 years before Plymouth. That's the Massachusetts. They were talking about Spanish settlers were already celebrating it with the native, what is it, Timucan people. So there is this toss up between who first was celebrating it, but
I think the thing is that since it's a celebration of giving thanks just for like now for what we're thankful for throughout our year, but back
mhm,
then it was kind of like they got to the colonies and they were like, oh, we're thankful we actually made the trip, and thanking God and just thanking in general, just that kind of like religious aspect to it is what I think it had back then, especially for Spaniards. Like yeah, when they had a lot of those like traditions and holidays and things. From the Catholic Church over, like they had the tradition of giving thanks. I don't know if it was necessarily called Thanksgiving, but I know in a lot of
I think they used to call it like a harvest feast. Like it was a harvest back
so,
then and
yeah,
not a thing.
there are a lot of those like in ancient civilizations and things that they have like a harvest festival at the time, and it's kind of just like giving thanks to like nature or to God or to their gods plural, whatever type of religion they had. And it's just kind of it's the tradition, right? But it wasn't the same way. It's obviously not the same way that we celebrate it now, but it wasn't
Yes,
the same concept. It was like a different thing. But the feeling of giving thanks and being thankful for something is what remained and stayed, I think.
remain the same. Yeah, but and even in Thanksgiving meals, so the Plymouth, the Massachusetts, I will not say that word. um, they had a little common with today's tradition because they although turkey were indigenous, there's no record of big roasted bird at the feast,
Right.
but they had a lot of local seafood, which I could understand, and they had a lot of fruits and including pumpkin. So pumpkin has been there. They had no mashed potatoes. Potatoes had only been recently shipped back to Europe from South America. So, and I think I can see why that happened, because back then seafood was possibly the main meal, basically, because it's
Yeah, they were in the coast and it was just right there, right?
yeah.
Whatever's convenient and whatever's there. I mean, you're not gonna go out of your way. And they especially probably didn't even know how to hunt turkey and like grow potato. Like, I mean, those things, right? That we
Yeah, like if you talk about tradition, like
Mhm.
the generations apart, then you could understand. And I was like, seafood too, it's like easier to prepare, or you don't have to store it. Basically, you just pick, sorry, I'm gonna use this word pick, but you just catch what you want, the amount you need to eat currently, and you don't have to store it. Because I'm like, we're talking about the 1500s.
Yeah.
We ain't got no refrigerator back then. We ain't got electricity back then. So I can see where, mussels and lobsters were their main meals. So I
Yeah.
get that.
It's all like generational and cultural and what's their typical foods, what's easy to get, right? It's what it is.
Oh, nice. Okay, so when did America first call for a national Thanksgiving? Um, so they were celebrating the victory over the British in the Battle of Saratoga in 1789. George Washington again called for the National Day of Thanks on the last Thursday of November in 1777 to commemorate the end of the Revolutionary War and the ratification, wait,
The ratification of the Constitution.
and the ratification of the Constitution. So during the Civil War, both Confederacy and the Union issued Thanksgiving Day proclamations following the major victories. So again, that's where, Thanksgiving is always being thankful for
Yeah.
something. That's kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I love learning these things.
Oh yeah. It's like the sentiment stays the same, right? Like we're thanking
Yes.
whoever or like each other or God for winning these battles, right? And then before it was like we're thanking the gods or God, plural or singular, for the harvest, right? So it's like all these different.
There's something that stays. The message of Thanksgiving was staying the same throughout.
Yeah, which I feel like
Okay,
is still the
so
same today, right? We still, that is the main goal of Thanksgiving, right? Getting together and thanking for something, right? Being thankful for something. So the
that's
sentiment has
true.
stayed the same, even though the way that we celebrate it now, it's not the same.
It's differ.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and I think in the next 50 years it's gonna change too. Like
I mean, as culture changes, yeah, society
it,
changes,
it will change.
it'll change.
Okay, so how long has pumpkin pie been a tradition part of Thanksgiving? So pumpkin pie was a staple on New England Thanksgiving table as far back as the 18th century. Legend has it that the Connecticut town of Colchester postponed its Thanksgiving feast for a week in 1705 due to the molasses shortage. There could simply be no Thanksgiving without pumpkin pie. My sentimental, I completely understand that. Hey, you postpone a whole Thanksgiving for the pie.
A whole week because there is no molasses to make the pumpkin pie. All right.
Hey, I feel that. I mean, I remember this conversation with my American mom and her husband last night as they were gathering things for Thanksgiving. And he was like, okay, I'm going to go grocery shopping. And she was like, telling him all the things that she needs to prepare the meal. And he was like, okay, I'll just buy a pumpkin pie. And she, like, her hand went up and she was like, that's what we're not going to do. We're going to make that pumpkin pie from scratch. We do not buy pumpkin pie. I was like laughing because she was real hard. Like, she was like, don't do that. So that was quite funny.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that like if you make it from scratch, it's so much better than buying it at the store.
I know, especially if it's hot.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I do plan to make my own this year, so we'll see.
oh, see, I need my slice. People, I will give her a review. She's gonna bake it. I'll pick it up, and then we'll come on here and I'll tell you guys how it tastes. I will
Go
be
for review.
blunt and honest. And I think another thing that people always look forward um, during Thanksgiving is that Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. And that was one of those moments where you sat, if you can't be there, you sat in front of your television and you watched it, you watched the performance, you watched people walking down those streets. So that was kind of, and I think that's something that we'll miss this year.
Yeah.
Um, I know that this year's Thanksgiving will be different. Um, but I think of the things that we should be thankful for is that we're still here to experience it, or you know we're still here. We should give thanks for that, which I will end up going through the things that I'm thankful for. And I would like to say this year has not been a very easy year, but it's been a grateful year because I'm talking on my behalf now, is that I am getting to understand, like appreciate the simple things that I've always taken for granted. The fact that I could have always went to the movies, always go out to restaurants and not worried, being able to travel and, not thinking, oh, can I go here? And is this, there's so many things that we were taking for granted throughout previous years that this year kind of slowed us down, took us a step back and be like, look at all the opportunities you guys have. Be grateful for it, be thankful. So I would say that the things that I'm thankful for is one, I'm thankful for life. Two, I'm thankful for health. Three, I'm thankful for family. Four, I'm thankful for friends. Five, I'm thankful for coworkers, and just everyone in general. I'm very thankful that we've had this experience so that we can approach 2021 with a better year. I was like, this is like do you know your 2020 New
Resolution.
Year's resolution? I know we're gonna probably have uh, a podcast about that, like a New Year resolution, but I just want to state that I'm really thankful for 2020 because it's taught me so many things. I've grown in so many ways because of 2020. And hey, that's all I should be thankful for.
Yeah.
What are you thankful for,
I,
Giuliana?
I agree with you. I think this year has been a year of putting things into perspective and realizing what matters. And, I think it's kind of true what people say sometimes. It's like you don't realize what you had until you lost it or you lost a portion of it. And right, that freedom of going out and living like a carefree life and not having to worry about, getting sick or getting other people sick, right? That was something that is now lost. But at the same time, you gain a new perspective and understanding of what actually matters in life, right? And just everything in general. I mean, it's been a hard year, but I feel like I'm definitely thankful for college, right? It's keeping me active, keeping me
Yes.
sane. I don't know what I would do if I was just sitting at home with no classes, no work, no nothing. I was just JCCC, keeping my social life going. So thank you, thank you, Juko, for keeping my social life alive.
I
Because or else I
agree.
would just be sitting at home doing nothing, and that's also not that good, right? But definitely thankful for that, and just thankful for persevering, right, and thriving, even though this is like a very challenging time. Like changes are happening up and down, right? Depending on like the rates going up or down, right? The situation changes, and we have to adapt. And so it's been a lot of adapting. It's been a lot of reorganizing schedules and priorities, what's more important right now, and all of that. But I've grown, like you said, Camille. I've grown as a person, and I can be thankful for that and appreciate that. And I feel like if we ever do this again, we're much more equipped to deal with a pandemic than we ever were.
Exactly. Exactly.
So now at least we know what to do.
Amen. So feel free to tell us what you are thankful for. And then my homegirl will do the outro.
Like Camille said, feel free to let us know what you're thankful for. We always want to hear from you guys, what your thoughts are. If you have any topics that you'd like us to talk about, please let us know. We are JCCC Student Life on Instagram and Facebook, and Cavalier Corner on all podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of that. And if you'd like to find out events that we have going on campus, check out our Get Involved at JCCC page. Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.